very nice.
Thank you all for that warm reception, and a particular thanks to Julie for being with us. It's wonderful to have you here. An obvious question, here you are in a city in Europe showing your musical. What is it like to walk out onto the streets of Madrid and see a poster for something you created?
Oh, God. Sometimes I think, well, it's not Coca-Cola, so, but it's, it feels both great and slightly embarrassing, you know? It's both, yeah.
Did you have much to do with this production? Do you actually sort of keep an eye on the various ones?
I do. I have an extraordinary team, and they go and do the various productions. I have a great associate director who now has done it for 10 years or more. And then in the one here in Madrid, I came in and worked with the actors for a week or so before we opened. And so they had the work with the original director, which I think you can get a lot done. You can do a lot, and I had a great time. It's one of the most passionate companies of The Lion King. Passion is the word, just all-out passion.
I can imagine in Madrid. But it must be lovely with each city or each company, finding what about that culture you can draw on, you can play with. What was the case here?
Well, one thing that doesn't translate culturally is humor. Generally, because humor is very localized. For instance, in The Lion King, the Timon and Pumbaa are Borscht Belt Jewish comedians. I mean, when you hear their accents and you know how Nathan Lane originated that, they have a familiarity and a way of speaking like Guys and Dolls or con artists. And so you have to, in each culture where we go, find the local equivalent. And that includes references, accents, and then even the hyenas who were with Whoopi Goldberg originally in Cheech and Chong or whatever. Even though you're dangerously walking a politically incorrect line with doing whatever that local hood thing is, and it's varied. Like in Japan, it was they mocked Osaka in Tokyo. In Johannesburg, we played with Cape Town versus Johannesburg. So you find it, and then you find also, for instance, with here, and I don't know how many of you have seen Leon, but at the end, Timon has to do a dance to, he steps in front of the hyenas, and he does a little dance. And in America, it's the Charleston, you know, 5'2", eyes are blue. Here, it's flamenco, and it works. He puts on a little pink dress and a mantilla, and he does his, and the audience goes with it. So it's kind of wonderful. We just opened in Bristol, England, and I said, all right, let's see it. What is going to embarrass me now? What are they going to do? And they did river dance, you know. They did, little Timon is there stomping, and the audience loves it. So there are things that you just close your eyes and go, okay, I hope that works. But it's the kind of show that has the highs and the lows. You know, it can be very elegant and also very inelegant, very lowbrow.
There are productions, of course, of The Lion King all around the world, Julie. Do they kind of feel like, do you think of them as they're your children? It's like visiting your children, or like an extended family?
Yes, I do, especially with all the kids. There's so many children all over the place, you know, and I just was in Bristol 2 weeks ago, and there were 12 children, because every country has different rules about how many kids you have to hire. And it's just this giant family, and we're celebrating the 15th anniversary in November, and a lot of that family will come back.
Must be interesting if and when the young Simbas grow up to play the adult Simba.
There are. No, we have young Simbas who are either Mufasa understudies or are in the chorus.
So their life is bound up with the show.
Poor them, yes. Yes.
Now, we'll talk, of course, a lot more about The Lion King, but I think it's important, obviously, to point out to the audience that you've done many, many other things as well.
You mean I'm not Yul Brynner?
You're not Yul Brynner.
With The King and I.
You have a lot more hair as well, and opera, film, whatever. So